Hey guys, it's your girl Vanessa here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I try a really popular recipe for grey hair. So if you're interested to find out how that recipe worked and whether I would recommend you using it, please make sure that you watch till the end of the video. It's really important, guys, that you watch till the end of the video, just because I will give you guys my recommendation at the end of the video, and also you would see whether the recipe worked or not. So don't watch halfway and then go ahead and try and later on come back and say it didn't work for me, or this happened or that happened. It's important that you watch all the video. Okay guys, so let's hop into it. So to begin with, you're going to brew 4 tea bags. So these are your regular tea that you drink at home that contain caffeine, and it's really important that as you're using the tea bags, don't add too much water. The point is to make the tea really concentrated. So that's why I added just a little bit of water, guys, and I'm just going to let it sit around and infuse for a few minutes. Now that should take you about 5 to 10 minutes really, with just adding hot water to it. So while that is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and prep my next ingredient. So just like you saw here, I'm using henna. So the henna that I use, I will link in the description box down below, so please feel free to check it out. So the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of henna for half a tablespoon of the next ingredient, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit. You can modify these quantities based on your preference. So what that means is, if you're going to use 4 tablespoons of henna, for example, you need to use 2 tablespoons of triphala powder. To be honest, I've never heard of this powder before. It was my first time ever hearing of this or even coming across it. I found this powder on Amazon. It's pretty easy to find actually, and apparently it's also really good for your hair. It contains harikati, bitaki and amalaki powder. So it's like an Ayurvedic kind of mixture of powders, and it has some great benefits for our hair as well. I personally have never used it before, but the recipe does call for it, and apparently seems to be working. So let's see whether or not it works. So I'm just mixing the 2 powders together just to make sure that they combined. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in the tea that we brewed earlier. Now notice how concentrated that tea is, right? So that's what you want. So make sure you don't add too much water, as I said earlier. Now to mix the powder, I'm adding the tea really gradually, just because I don't want to overdo it. So add a little bit, stir, check the consistency, and then add some more if you feel the need to. Now this is the consistency that I ended up with and I was happy with. So the recipe calls for this to allow to cure for about 24 hours. So you can make it the night before and then use it in the morning. If you don't have much time, guys, it's okay to let it cure for like at least 3 hours. So you can use it and make it and use it the same day, but it's better to let it cure overnight. There was supposed to be darker color, but to be honest, the color changed, but I don't feel like it's gotten that darker as perhaps I would have expected it to. But nonetheless, we're still going to go ahead and apply it and just see what happens really. So this is what my hair looks like. It's currently in braids, but I can still access my edges. To be honest, my edges are the parts that are more visible, to be honest. I do have grays as well in other parts of my hair, but I'm not too bothered by that. So I'm going to just go ahead and apply this right at the front of my hair. Now it suggests that you make sure you have no oils on your hair, so make sure that you go ahead and shampoo your hair prior to applying this, which is what I did for maximum results. So I really just wanted to try this out 100% and make sure that it works. So yes, I went ahead and washed my hair as the recipe suggested. Now, one thing that I would say is that you have to wear gloves because obviously the henna can stain. So if you use your fingers, you are definitely going to get stained. Or if you're going to do the entirety of your hair, make sure that you wear a top that even if it does get stained, you're not going to be too bothered by it. Or just wear something black, really. Right, so this is it here after I finish applying it, guys. So I'm just going to let it sit on my hair for 25 minutes to half an hour, and then I'm going to go ahead and rinse it off with just warm water. So this is what it looks like half an hour later. You can see it's definitely darkened. So let's wash it out and see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like, guys. You can see it has definitely darkened the hair, but I wasn't completely satisfied with this because you can literally see that my hair has two colors, right? So you can see the rest of my hair is black, whereas this one is kind of like slightly brown. So I wasn't quite happy with that. So I thought, let me just reapply this a second time and see whether or not it is going to make any difference at all. So I went ahead and did that. Let it sit again for another 25 minutes to half an hour and rinse it off. And then I'm going to show you guys the results in a bit. So this is what I ended up with. Again, not really happy with it at all because here it's definitely darker. You can't see the grays, but my hair literally has like two colors. So at this point, I just decided to improvise because I'd used henna on my hair before with indigo, and I got this kind of, I used henna on my hair before, sorry, and I got this kind of color. So I just gathered that maybe if I use indigo on my hair after this, it might actually work. So to be honest, this was just an experiment that I was doing, and if it didn't work, I would have just been like, okay, let my hair just revert back to being grays, and then I can just go back to my regular routine of just dyeing my hair black like I normally do. So this was just a trial to see if it was going to work. So I mixed about 1 tablespoon of indigo with just water, and I'm just going to go ahead and just apply it to my hair and see what happens. So technically the recipe didn't do what it said it was going to do. Like, it didn't do what it promised. I didn't get the black hair. Yes, I got rid of the gray hair, but it was more like a brownish or kind of like orangey color that I ended up with. And to be honest, nobody wants to walk around with hair looking like that. The rest of your hair is black and you're gray and your edges are brown. Like, it really doesn't make sense, right? So I was expecting a darker color, like a black color, but I ended up with that. So anyways, I worked this indigo through my hair, making sure every bit was covered. I'm gonna let it sit around again for another 25 minutes to half an hour, and I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it off with just warm water. And eventually I had the black color that I wanted, and I was really happy with the outcome. So if you are going to try this recipe, I would say it's definitely safe because the henna I have used before, the triphala powder, like I said, I've never used it before, never even heard of it. But it's all natural stuff and certainly will not harm your hair. So it's definitely worth trying. But I would suggest, if you are going to do that, make sure that you use indigo, because as you saw, you're not going to get a black color. It's going to be brown, and yeah, you're probably not going to be happy with the outcome. So follow exactly what I did if you're going to try it. So the recipe didn't do what it promised, basically. So this brings me to the end of the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you like this type of videos or experimental videos, let me know. I can definitely make more of them. And if you have any other recipe that works for gray hair, please share them in the comment section down below. I would really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.